Good evening. Welcome to the Upfront Mind, Body, Soul podcast, where I am your host, Dr. Michelle Bolden Hammond. And listen, I am so excited. So, audience, that I have a frequent flyer cast. So, I have a frequent flyer cast. So, some people have seen her before. Some people have seen me on her show before. But I have my sister friend here, Coach Victoria Holland. I actually is you're saying elevated and not tolerated is now. I want you to tell you personally tonight that your elevated, not tolerated is now in a recovery house where a retreatment center where I have the client saying that.
Wow.
So I wanted to give you that. So I wanted to give you that. So yeah, congratulations. Because now, when they walk through, they'll see me. They say, I'm elevated, not tolerated. So
All right. Awesome. Thank you.
I want to say welcome you here, Victoria. It's a pleasure having you here, and with the guests who are coming behind you. And because why are we here, audience? Let me put that out there. Why are we here? Because Victoria has a fantastic book. I know people gonna say, God, Michelle, how many book collaborations you gonna be in this year? So one of the things is the key word I just said was collaborations. It is so important that we have so many stories because it takes a lot to write one book by yourself. But I think when you do these collaborations, it actually is effective because actually it's really to help someone else. Everybody had that share that story, but it's actually to help yourself. So welcome, Victoria. So tell us about this new book that's going to be coming out and when it's coming out. And ladies, let me say this. The other guests, just give them an inkling because they're going to have to buy 1,000 books.
Wait a minute. You done kicked it up a notch, Michelle. 1,000. Wow. That's all right. Well, thank you so much again for having us back. It is always a pleasure to be up front with mind, body, and soul. And we're also we always try to make sure we mention your program because it is such an uplifting program and very holistic, and I love it. And I love every minute of it. But I'm so glad that you have invited us back to tell you a little bit about what's going on with this collaboration. And the collaboration is a book of people telling their stories. And the title of the book is It Started With Me, Overcoming the Fear About Myself and Turning It Around to Empower Myself. And so the book will be coming out hopefully somewhere about the middle of April, no later than the 1st of May. We have 10 to 13 authors that are going to be participating in the first volume. Some participants will move over to the second volume so we're already planning for the second volume to hit the scene as well. This book has been refreshing to read about these stories that some of these individuals that are part of the book, how they give of themselves and share some of their intimate stories about some challenges that they've had. And I'm just super excited for the ones that are with us today that said yes to the collaboration. And we're also glad to have you with us as well as a part of. This is my first collaboration, but it's inspired by my dear friend Michelle. She taught me some things over the last 4 or 5 years that we've been together. So thank you, Michelle, for your leadership. I appreciate you so much to the highest, my friend.
Great. Always, again, it's about when I can help the areas I can help because I always try to bring others along with me. So
yes,
because somebody had to bring me along. So I don't try to storage all the data.
I got you. You're so right.
I don't storage all the data, but I'm not gatekeeping it. I'm not gatekeeping it, I have an open gate policy here,
Oh yeah, that's right. You sure do.
open gate policy, but
She
you know.
really does.
So, Victoria, before I go into the other authors, the co-authors and stuff, what
Mhm.
really inspires you right now? Because you said one word that is, it seems like I'm flashing back to 2020, like when this COVID-19 hit, people were in fear. And I think now for what the climate that is going on right now,
Mhm.
fear.
Right.
What are we going to do to overcome it? So, some of the people offering tips, I know in myself as being part of this, I offer some tips, but I also think people need to be transparent that it's a fearful time out here.
That's true. That's
It's a very fearful time out here because, this morning I received some news that I may not have a job because the state is
wow.
running with money from what I do with the addictions as a counselor. So I'm still
Exactly.
not understanding that. And it's sad when the people who work in the administration don't even know. I had to tell
Right.
them. So it's appealing to me because it's gonna be a lot of fear out
Mhm.
here. So, what inspired you to write this book? Because I also am a person and a firm believer that nothing is done without being in the perfect alignment of time.
Definitely so. Definitely so.
So, can you give what inspired you to write this right now, to this time, for this time, such as now, as we can say?
Well, it's kind of interesting, Michelle. The title of the book I've had for over 4 years. It came out of me actually transitioning, as many of you know, from from one book that I was a part of that I created was my own book that's out there, Diva in Position Going Through the Storm. And but probably about 2 to 3 years after that book went online, um, God started dealing with me on, some of the issues that we deal with in society, in life itself. Some of those things happen from within our own selves. Those things that we tend to hide, if you will, because sometimes we are hiders of our emotions and our experiences because not everybody understands what we're going through, why we went through it, how did we go through it. And so there was a part of my life, coming out even into the coaching, into the things that I was doing, that I was still kind of holding back. I was still kind of not letting myself be free with. And so through the process, guys started dealing with me. Why are you holding back? What is the real secret that you cannot come, that you can't come with? I mean, even in your collaboration, I was coming out a little bit, but I still wasn't coming out. And then we came out in the book with with Tina Hammond, and our voices started creating, and all of a sudden I was laying, and this also happened during the time that I got COVID. See, it's funny you brought that up. I was about to laugh at you, but even during that time when I got COVID, and some of my students, I was teaching at the time, and some of my students started saying, hey, Miss Victoria, you don't need to talk anymore. You need to be quiet. I mean, I can remember sitting in the classroom one night with a laptop sitting on my chest trying to teach my students. And the whole time I was trying to do it, not so much for them, if you will. I wasn't doing it for myself. I was doing it for them, right? And all of a sudden, doing that whole process, and even leading up into the beginning of last year, God started saying to me, look, you got to be honest with yourself. The imposter syndrome does exist, people. And Michelle, we got a book coming out. We was trying to keep that undercover, but you're making me talk about it. But the imposter syndrome is very serious. People don't understand that sometimes we do stuff and we're given that syndrome. And so when God started speaking to me, he says, time to come out from behind the covers. Come out of this, you got to be real. Be real with yourself. One of the classes that I teach is about self-worth and understanding who you are and developing self-confidence in who you are. And so all of a sudden, at the beginning of 24, God started downloading it to me. He's like, this is the time. Start preparing. This is the time. You have to release what has held you back, but is now what propels you. What's really behind the scenes of elevated, not tolerated. It's the stuff that I went through, right? That's what keeps me going. That's what pushes the program. That's what pushes Victoria Elevates. That's what makes it real. It's the stuff that I feared the most that now I can come out of my fear and I can stretch forth and say, you know what? It didn't kill me. It only propelled me to my next. And so then God started all down through 24 was giving me the signals that it was time. And I said, well, God, wait a minute. I've never done this kind of stuff. I've never done a collaboration. I've been in the collaborations. He said, but there are other people that you know of that have true stories that need to be told. And these people need the opportunity to share in the journey with you about this very topic, that everything that we went through had a purpose and a plan, and it was supposed to get to our next. So that's the basics of it. There's more in the book that I talk about the whole process, but it came from realizing that I was some of my own issues, some of the things that I hid from me, because you got to look in the mirror of yourself. You have to look at the mirror of who you are and develop how you're going to move to your next level. And that's sort of the basis of how I got started. There's more that's coming out in the book as we go forward with it.
All right. So now we're going to move into some of the contributors. So, Sheena, thank you for welcome, Sheena. This is
Thank
welcome to the
you.
Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul. I like that. Welcome you here. So the
Thank
question,
you.
yeah. So first, give the audience a little bit who you are, and the question that I'm going to ask, and I'm going to lead this to Lisa and then to Carrie as well. Why did you say yes to this collaboration?
Okay, well, my name is Sheena Trammell. I am a mother of seven. I am a grandmother of three. I am engaged to a fabulous man. That we'll be getting married in July. Thank God. um, I am an evangelist at the Well Church here in Danville, Virginia. And I accepted to be in that book collaboration because I was I was my own fear. I feared myself. I was the fearing of the unknown, and I just needed to let the people know that hey, there's no more fearing. Just go out and do what you got to do. And so
All right.
here
Look,
I am.
here I am. Make me look good.
For sure, for sure.
And congratulations on to you. You will be that July bride. So for
Yes,
me,
thank you.
I'm the June. I'm the month before.
Okay,
Congratulations. I'm the June. And I
congratulations.
actually have a milestone. June the 10th. It'll be 30 years for me. So
Oh wow!
yeah.
Yeah,
So 30 years for me.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So
that lucky man that he is.
let me turn the mic, please.
We love you, Mr. Hammond. He's so
He's
sweet.
he's a keeper. He's a keeper. He's a keeper. He's a keeper. So, Miss Lisa, this is not my first time meeting you, but Miss Lisa, thank you. Tell the audience who you are and why did you say yes to this collaboration?
So, my name is Lisa Dunlap, and I'm a mother of two and a bonus child. Um, I work as a benefits manager for a community college. I said yes to Victoria because I have been thinking about writing a book. Well, actually had three books in mind, but wasn't sure where I should start. And then when Victoria started talking to me about it, I was like, I don't know, I don't know. Then in my spirit, it said, "This is what you need to push you to do the other books that you have in your heart." And so I said yes to Victoria, and also I wanted people to know that there is life after grief.
Yes. Oh, most definitely. Most definitely.
Mhm.
Most definitely. And Carrie, welcome, welcome, welcome. And the same question goes for you. And tell them who you are and why did you say yes to this?
Well, my name, y'all have to excuse me, this pollen has been killing me. I can barely talk. But my name is Carrie Price. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm the CEO of All About Music Production, Promotion, and Management. I'm a podcaster. I'm an outreach. I do outreaches for my church. And the reason I said yes is like her, like this Lisa, I was thinking about doing a book myself. And when this opportunity came to me, it was just like, okay, well, this is a start, a prerequisite, so to speak, to my book that I want to put out because I don't want nobody to tell my story. I want to be the one to tell my story.
Right.
So,
Right. That's it. I love it. I love it, Miss Carrie. I love it. I love it. So, everybody has their own definition of fear, right?
Mhm.
Now, as for me, the reason why I said yes to this is because, of course, Victoria pulled my leg too. But sight no,
You better believe it.
yeah, it's you know, and everyone else has said the same thing to the effect, like I had said earlier. See how you didn't even know what I was going to say. It's what I said when it came to making the books. There's a strategy to this. Yeah, you guys wanted to do your own book, but this is, like you said, prereqs to what you go. And I'm gonna tell you right now, you're gonna be doing more after this because it will open up a whole new window of
Definitely.
opportunities for you. Just sharing and being transparent of this topic that when it started with me, because it's only you that knows your story. And
That's right.
when we come down to sharing our story, here goes the fear, because a lot of times when we put those stories out, you got them heckler beckler family people who's like, oh, is she sharing this about me?
Ooh,
Oh,
ooh.
wait a minute. But it's your
That's true.
story.
It's your
You
That's
story.
know,
it.
it's your story. There's a lot of some of you may not know. I share my story about the struggles that I had as
Yes.
an adoptee being raised in the family members. But I always struggled with the reason why my biological mother wouldn't take care of me. That it brought fear. And this is how I overcame it, because of fear, because I didn't trust people.
There you go.
I'm gonna share a little bit of mine, right?
Yep.
That's the
Come
question that
on
I'm
there.
gonna talk about. That's what I talk about, how they had issues with trusting people, how my rejection gave me fear of that I wasn't good enough. And
Mhm.
we have colorism. We talked about this way years
Yes.
ago. We do have
Yes.
colorism in our own
Yes, we
community.
do.
That I was a little dark skinned girl. I had to deal with that. It was so much of the fear. Now, fear, I've overcome it because I'm all over the airways. People asking me to come places, and I don't shut up no more. I just constantly keep going. So it's just that's how I overcame the fear, because you know what? I had to come to the concept to feel like, why not me?
That's
That's
right.
it. That's it.
That's the question I put out to the audience right now. Why not you?
Why
right.
not you?
Why
Mm.
not you?
Some of y'all sitting on historical books.
Come on now, Michelle. You better say it.
I
That's
get the
it.
chill just talking about that right
Look,
now.
look, you see me had to move myself. You know what
Some
I
of y'all
saw
sitting
move.
on a lot of historical books. But
That's
here's
it.
the thing. What we're talking about, me, is because we have things to overcome with, and we're being transparent telling this. You know why we do this? Do you know why? It's not that let me tell you something. Amazon don't give you a lot of money for books. Now, let me tell
No.
you that. I'm just going to be real on that,
Come on,
ladies.
Michelle. Talk about it. Talk
I
about
think,
it.
look, this whole show going a whole different direction. But hey, it's said to be, meant to be. Amazon don't give you a whole lot of money for your books. That's why I buy them at the author's price, and don't care to get it, because I don't want them really get my money anyway. But
Right.
I
That's
do what I
right.
do.
That's
Mhm.
right.
But here's the thing. That story can transform somebody else's life who may be going through the same identical thing that you went through. So, first of all,
Mhm.
ladies, I want to commend you for coming forth with your story, how you overcame with your fear. So, give yourselves a hand.
That's it.
And for that person who's sitting out here listening, like, what is she talking about?
Mhm.
Yes, I'm talking about you. You
Yeah.
got some fear going on. I know you
Mhm.
do, because it's an unjustful time of fear. But we know that the man upstairs says, fear not, be anxious, and of anything.
And that's the thing, Michelle. I'm sorry. You know how we do. And that's the thing. There's so many people that are sitting on the stories of their life, which is exactly what has kept them moving through their life, right? And sometimes we have been held down by everybody else's viewpoints and everybody else's thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
that we still don't see how valuable, because you've done the collaborations before, so you get to read some of the things that the people are saying in their chapters. And I'm excited for these people, for all of us, because we all write in our individual chapters. But because you that's sitting out there watching us today, and you're trying to figure out, what have I got to do? Just talk about it. Get it
That's
out
right.
of your system.
Yeah.
Sometimes the very thing that is holding you back is what's going to propel you to your next level. Some of the things that we're going to have in this book are things that people are dealing with right now. We have so much in the society that keeps us in bondage, that if somebody doesn't take time to speak about it, if somebody doesn't bring it to the light, then somebody else is not going to get it out there. Some of you are sitting out there right now saying, I don't know if I can do a podcast. I don't want to do a podcast. I don't want to do a book. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. But have you stopped and asked yourself, what's keeping you from doing it? It's the fear of who you are to yourself. See, once you get past knowing that everybody else is out there going to watch you regardless, right? Michelle and I do these podcasts all the time, and we realize people watch us all day long. Does it matter? No. At the end of the day, I'm going to get what I need to get off my chest. I'm going to do what I got to do. The thing is, you have too much right now that you do not need to waste, that's going to go to the sidebar. We
That's
do
right.
a lot of sidebar conversations, but do we actually get out who we are that's going to help somebody? The sister sitting beside you is going through something that's very similar to you, that you need to be able to help them through, right? I say this sometimes, I don't want anybody to go through the hells that I went through in domestic violence. I don't want nobody to go through what I went through. I want you to know that there is a means of escape. I did it, right? And the stories that's in this collaboration, you're going to hear people tell you stories that you would have thought that would kill you, but it's going to heal you. See, we're in the business of making sure people get the healing that they need for mind, body, and soul. We're here trying to help you get to that level, right? And so if we can walk out of our fears and walk into another place of helping you, then what better place is it is? So all we're saying to you that are watching or will watch later is that it's time for you to come out from behind your shades,
There
your
you go.
fakeness. Look, let's be real. Michelle, you know me, I'm be real. Some of us are behind the scenes, we're faking it until we make it. Why not just come on out and do it? Right? What's it gonna hurt? Michelle just said it. Amazon don't give us no whole heck of a lot for those books. But guess what? It's the stories that's what's inside the book that's gonna pay somebody 100% to get out of where they at, to get
Yeah.
out of their head, get them out of the stuck places. These ladies that are on today, their stories are so unique that when you read them, it's going to propel you to move to your next. I get chills every time I think about Michelle's story. I get chills every time I read Pastor Sheila's story. Every time I look at Carrie, I'm like, wow, this happened. Lisa is a walking, talking, I can make it through this.
Yeah.
And we want you to do the same thing. It's time to get out, y'all. It
That's right.
started with you, but it's now time for you to help somebody else understand it. I'm sorry, Michelle. You know this is
You're fine.
girl.
So we're going to take a quick break. But while you're doing the break, ladies, I'm going to go start back. And this time I'm going to start with Carrie. Carrie, I want you, I want to lead us in your minds. I want you guys to think about fear, define your definition of fear. So we're going to take a quick break and we're going to be right back. All right, I'm gonna show you guys this, and then we're coming right back with the guest because I want to show you what you're gonna get when you get this book. All right, I'm bopping. Come on, ladies. Look, we all in sync over there. Hey. Well, welcome back. This is the Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul, and I am here with the book, The Visionary, Victoria Holland, along with Sheena Tremel, Lisa Dunlap, and Carrie Price. And as you saw there, those are all the rest of the other contributing authors. So before we left for break, we want to talk about what is your definition of fear. So, Carrie, I'm going to start with you.
To me, I have learned that fear is false information that we tell ourselves.
Hmm.
We tell ourselves that we can't do this and we can't do that. Fear. And that's false. Because we can do anything that God said we can do. And He said we can have life and have it abundantly. So, but we put in our heads, no, this person's going to be talking about me. Or no, this person's going to listen. And no, this person is going to. So it's false information that we tell ourselves.
Oh, okay. I love it. Love it. False information. Ooh, I love that. All right, Lisa, same question for you.
I don't even know how to follow up behind that because I mean, she really put it out there. I agree with her 100%. It is false information that we tell ourselves. It's a emotion inside of us that we think about things and we automatically assume that it's going to be this, it's going to be that. And it is false information. We just constantly tell ourselves and we doubt ourselves. I feel like fear is doubt, doubting that you can do something, doubting that you can be something, that you can rule the world. It's the doubt I have in myself that creates the fear for me.
Mhm.
And when I talk about my story, one of my biggest fears is death of my child. That's the biggest fear. And I had to learn how to get over that and stop thinking, I text my daughter so much asking her, where you at? Are you home? Are you okay? Are you okay? So much that I had to call her one day and say, look, I'm sorry. I know I'm getting on your nerves because I got on my own nerves. But that was that fear. But now I can lay my head down and go to sleep without making that text.
That's all right. And Sheena, same question for you.
Fear to me it is facing everything and rise, or you can face everything and run. So
Ooh.
with me, I took it and I rise with it. I overcame the fear. I overcame the thoughts. I overcame the negativity. I overcame myself because fear will have you doubting yourself when you ain't even did anything. It will have you in depression. It will have you looking at things totally different. It will have you overthinking stuff. That is fear. But once you overcome fear, that's why the Bible says he don't give us the spirit of fear. Fear is a spirit. It's a spirit. And he don't give us the spirit of fear, but peace, love, and a sound mind.
There it is. The
Mm-hmm.
PLS, the PLS. There you go.
Yeah, that's
So,
it.
Victoria, I'm not going to leave you out of that because I know you're the visionary. I'm not going to leave you out of this one. So, go ahead with that.
Well, see, I'm just going to piggyback off of everybody else, and I'm going to also say the fear is keeping us from success.
Mm.
Whatever we, put in our heads, and everything that each one of you have said, all go into, sometimes we just don't want to succeed in life. We don't want to succeed in front of folk. We don't want to succeed. So we put these false things in our minds. We pick up our negatives of things that we are working on. Because you're going to always, we're not perfect. Fear is that part of place where it's, your imperfect things continue to build up until you start challenging them and knocking them down. Right. I like what Sister Sheena said, because sometimes you got to decide, are you going to run with it? Or are you going to rise with it? Like I'm all about I like things to be in order, decent and in order. I like things to be mapped out. But at the end of the day, fear is uncontrollable sometimes. Some things you have got to tackle. You can't tackle not moving. You can't, depression will keep you locked in. You have to fight to get out of these places. So for me, fear is that thing that keeps me from wanting to succeed. But when I run with it, fight with it, knock that joker down with it, give it a 0-1-2 karate punch, I'm coming out smelling like what I want God to be proud of. And that's not allowing nothing to keep me down.
That's
We
right.
all have our moments, but
That's
that
right.
fear factor, we have to move it out the way. So I'm just gonna ride the back of you guys, because everything that you're saying is absolutely the truth. That's what fear is. That false, that
All
Mhm.
right.
falseness.
I love it. I love it. See, audience, that's why you have to go buy 2,500 of
Oh,
them now. So,
she Michelle, look, now. Woo, people don't understand what we give them numbers to do now. I tell you,
yeah,
that's what numbers
2,500 of them. So, 2,500 of them.
25.
Well, ladies, I will say we almost to the end, but there's two more things that I want to do before we leave out of here. Um, I actually want you to give us no, give the title, give the your title, and within that title, I want you to give someone an encouraging word or a type of strategy to use when they feel paralyzed by fear. So this time I'm going to start with you, Lisa.
So my chapter title is Last Word.
Ooh.
And, sometimes the last word that we give ends up being the word that brings you out. So you go through things and then you say something, and little do you know that very thing that you said is what's going to bring you out.
Mhm.
Mm, that's perfect. 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 Perfect pitch, as they say. Perfect
Mhm.
pitch.
Perfect pitch.
Perfect pitch. Perfect pitch. So yeah, next, Carrie, for you, same question.
My title of my chapter is called Overcoming Obstacles.
Mm.
Because we've all had some obstacles in our lives that we had to come, step over, so to speak.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to encourage someone that if I can overcome, you can overcome. You know what I'm saying? It's not easy. It hasn't been an easy road. In my book, I've lost several family members, and it was not easy. Grief was real, really real for me, and it had me stagnated for a long time. And the Bible is the only thing that brought me out of it.
Mm.
The Lord is the only thing that brought me out. So I just want to encourage someone that if I can overcome the obstacles that I have been through, you can as well.
You just triggered something in me in a story that I wrote years ago when I had to do it for my minister license. And it talks about in Corinthians when it talks about the incorruptible crown and, like this race that we're going through, right? But nobody ever thinks about those hurdles when you're jumping over those hurdles.
That part.
So
Absolutely.
that has always been a storyline that has stuck with me, and that's why I had to do the application and with me with that because and it was so funny. It made me flash back to my years in high school. I used to stay after school and watch the track team, and they would jump over these hurdles, and I never did understand those hurdles. But then after that, hearing the application of it, we may have hurdles, but the hurdles spring back.
Come on now. Come on. That's good. That's
The
good.
hurdles spring back up. They got springs in them. So as you said, Sheena, you're going to rise up with it. The hurdles might come down, but you can spring right back up over them.
That's right.
So
That's
that'll
right.
be the application and the strategy that I would say. Study that incorruptible. Study the race because it's not for the swift.
Come on
That's
now.
right. That's right. That's right.
All right now.
That's
The
right.
race
Now
is
you're
not for the
missing. Now you're
swift.
missing. Now you're missing.
That don't miss that because what you may see. I'm trying to tell you, this stuff will fool you. AI will fool you in this day and time. So I'm just saying,
Watch it.
it's not for the swift, and you have to remember, as you said, these hurdles may come, but just place yourself as being that hurdle. It may be a hurdle, but you're gonna spring back up, and you know what? The hurdles don't break because they're made of that, and that's what it
right.
is.
That's
We
it.
can be broken, but we won't break.
We
That's
won't break.
That's right.
There you go. That's
Woo!
it.
That's it.
That's it.
Hallelujah.
That's it.
Uh-oh. And you messed it. Now you really messed it.
Yes.
Yes, so
Yes.
you really missed it there, Michelle. Now, wait a minute.
Oh my gosh, I feel that thing.
I felt
Yes.
that. You put a chill over me when you said that.
Yes.
So that's what we're talking about with fear, overcoming the fear, because you got to start with you. So I addressed this question out to the audience. How durable are you?
Mm-hmm.
Woo. Okay, you missing.
You can break.
She
You can be
missing,
broken,
y'all.
but you won't break. You
That's
may
right.
break, but sometimes the broken process is where you're gonna get your healing at.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's it.
So I'll just touch down. I'm a flight on down now.
Yep. She flying in.
Sheena, I'm gonna leave that question to you.
Listen.
She messing, y'all. She is messing.
Listen. Oh my goodness, you didn't started something.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have.
But the title of my chapter is Sheena's Strength, and it's something that I can give to the people is that I was dehydrated trying to find the woman that I
Ooh, I love it.
wanted to be, but now I thirst after the woman that who I am today. I am an author. I'm becoming a life coach. I am becoming everything that my heart desires because I've overcame the fear that was in my life.
Wow.
Listen at that.
Yes.
Well,
These some
Victoria,
bad chicks. These some bad chicks up in here. I don't know if I can sit in this room with y'all too much longer.
look, I'm sitting here now and I'm like, I'm writing these down.
Girl.
I'm writing these down.
Well, I can always put you on the extra editing team because I'm telling you, girl, when I was reading them, I was like, phew.
I'm writing this stuff down.
Girl, it's bad. It's bad. I'm telling you. It's gonna be something. People.
So I said 2,500, but now I'm going to 3,000.
Come on, pick it back up there. Pick it some more. We need all we can get.
Definitely.
So I'm just definitely. So Victoria, I for me, what my story is.
Yes.
Mine is self get out the way. Self get out of the way. But that was what holding me up. the self,
Mm.
that was holding me up. So, uh, one of the things, as I was saying, you got to reframe. One of the tips I'll say, I'll give them a little bit.
A little bit.
One of the tips that I had was reframing yourself. So,
Mm.
we often talk about that in therapeutic settings. We always talk about, reframing your words. Yeah, you got to start reframing your words. If it means you doing those powerful affirmation over yourself to see yourself. So that's what you have to do, because that's what I had to do. People would say, oh, you that ugly black girl. Now I'm the beautiful queen that I am. So it's just the way you have to change that thing. And don't fear the room, let the room fear you.
Come on now.
That's
Come
it.
on.
I like that.
Yeah, that's it.
I like that.
We're going to do that, y'all.
Yeah.
Don't fear the room.
I'm writing that one
Don't
down.
fear the room.
You.
Let
I
the
like
room
that
fear
one.
you.
That's it.
And
Wow.
that's not being in a, way. That's not being like in a, don't let it fear. Don't let the room fear you. But
Yeah.
let the
Right.
room, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, sometimes we walk in the atmosphere again. It's a reframing your perspective.
That's
Mhm.
right.
Right.
You got to have that, because you can't go weak in some of these rooms. And then sometimes, as they always say, you got to make your own table. Sometimes that's what you got to do. When you make you start making your own table to some of these rooms that you want to be into. That's fear can come in there, because they were expecting you to stay down there, but then you got to have that boldness. So that's where you have to think about it. So don't fear the room, let the room fear you.
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
it.
I'm writing that down.
I love it.
I like that. I like
I
that.
did too.
Wow. This is good.
Well, ladies, it has been a pleasure having you here on Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul. And again, every one of you, whatever you do, please feel free to share. If you want to come back on, this platform is always open up, because again, it's all about inspiration. That's all I share.
Yes.
Nothing but
it.
something inspirational, transformative information.
Mhm.
That's
it.
all I share. And I have an open mindset to all people. Let me say that again.
Come on, Michelle. Now you know how we get in trouble with that.
Well, we can't get in trouble only one. All people,
All people.
people be like, but it has to align with inspiration.
That's
That's
right.
the
Right.
thing.
That's
That
right.
part. It has, I get along with anybody, but it
That's
has
right.
to align with the focus of what this show is about. And we're all about uplifting inspiration, especially for your well-being in all three parts. Because people fail to realize that if one of the three things, the mind, the body, and the soul, if one of them things is out of line, it's actually going to trigger over into the rest. So you just definitely have to have that alignment of inspiration, and that'll take you far. So, ladies, again, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. It has been such a blessing. And I hope some of y'all be writing these things down. Somebody, because I'm sitting here like with my head blown. What did I just say?
You're going your own separate way. That's true.
What did I just say?
Exactly.
But that's how it comes out, and that's what you have to do. You have to be fear of not being fearful, to speak out boldly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a whole nother topic, because
Listen.
some
Michelle,
of
I
us
tell
have
you what my chapter is.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Victoria. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I feel some kind of way now.
Oh my gosh.
Mine is
Go ahead.
elevating beyond the evidence.
Oh,
Wow.
elevating beyond the evidence.
Mm-hmm.
See, we all rising.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when the police come out and they doing they got a crime scene, the evidence looks like somebody they came through the window, but they really didn't. They went out the window.
Mm.
So mine is talking about elevating past the evidence. Yep, I might look broke, but am I broke? I might be an ugly duckling, but am I ugly duckling? Because I'm rising above anything that has held me down and caused me to feel inadequate. And that's that fear. The fear said I couldn't do it, but I'm elevating beyond the evidence of what the fear said.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
Woo. So look, it's a hush in the room.
Y'all did it, man. I'm telling y'all. And Michelle, I just want to commend these young ladies because this is their first public written piece. That they're coming out. I mean, they're killing it. They're killing it in their first pieces that they're writing. And like you said, and I wanted to encourage you all as well. And Michelle's got 100 more books behind her, y'all. Yeah, don't let it fool you. But, I want to commend you all because you took a chance to be in this collaboration to tell your story. And I'm telling you, for first time writers, the devil is a liar.
And he
Because
is.
y'all done did the thing. Michelle, they have been,
Yes.
I'm amazed. I'm past amazed. I'm speechless because they rose above the evidence of what everybody thought and said that they wouldn't do, and they did it. And you have done it as well. And even your story is a little bit different from what you usually been writing about. Say, I caught it. I caught it, y'all. Y'all got to read it. But I just want to commend all of you and thank you so much for being a part. All of you, Michelle, everybody. I thank you for saying yes to the project. I really do.
So again, this will be looking out in April, and we'll have more about it. So you'll be following a couple weeks. We'll have more about it. Yep. So, audience, always leave the show with something to give you to leave out for your week to be blessed and just something for you to marinate as an inspiration. So I have these little notes that note to self, since we're talking about me, since it's starting with me. So there's these note to selves that I use in a therapeutic setting. So one of the things that I want to say for you to leave with this week, when it says starting with me, and this is it, catch it. Marinate on this.
Uh-oh.
It doesn't matter what they think. It doesn't matter what they think. So audience, until next week, you have a blessed week. Live on your purpose and let the purpose live on you. I'm signing out. Michelle Bolden Hammond. Have a great and prosperous week.